Everything we have to continue to work on it now. It's called James. I host News every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, dear brothers and sisters, my dear fellow citizens of the United States of America. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on the East West. Today, good news, a good face to see again. That's been missing for more than a month due to some surgical operation, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming. Welcome back to the show.
Jack, what can I say? This is where I belong. I've missed you and your viewers so much. Had a knee operation, trying to recover, and now I'm back here. My life begins again.
So you're back like a normal person already.
Well, I've always been abnormal, but I'm back. That's true.
Very good.
That's true.
Very good. So nice to see you back. I believe my audiences feel the same way.
I miss them so much.
Today, one of the pandemic comment,
Yes, sir.
the pandemic update, we have something else. Since during your absence for the 1 month something, the situation gets worse, right?
Partially worse.
Not only do we still see the same death rate, right? The pandemic is still there, not getting any better, if not worse, but we see lots of riots, lots of unreasonable phenomena that we cannot explain.
Right.
And above all, we seems to see a unprecedented situation as of haven't seen for so many years.
Maybe ever.
Maybe ever. We want to talk
Probably
about
never.
the French Revolution.
Right.
We want to talk about the Civil War,
Right.
right? Well, there's nothing come closer.
No.
Right.
This is it.
So it comes to me a question that do we want to vote for freedom and the Constitution instead of socialism under tyranny?
Exactly.
That's a big question. All right.
Yeah.
So it might serve as our subject for today.
Yeah.
As a title for today's show, we choose to say, we do not want revolution.
We don't want it to succeed. You know, this type of thing happened in Italy. It happened in Germany, obviously. It's happened in Venezuela, Cuba, different things. And now these forces, okay, the way to try to destroy a country, in very simple terms, to destroy it and then redo it in your own image of tyranny, is by attacking the history, which like the Japanese did.
As a title for today's show,
Yes, sir.
we chose to say we want no revolution.
We want freedom, our
Yeah,
Constitution.
we want freedom. That's a strong statement.
Yeah.
That's a statement that I myself, having experienced what revolution was really like
Right.
from head to toe, right? I feel number one, I'm totally scared. Number two, I want it to happen only over my dead body.
I love that comment.
No
myself.
other means.
Me too.
Right.
Thank you
So,
for saying that. That's a true American.
Very, very good.
And
very
that's
good.
a true quality human
And of
being.
course, we are not perfect, right?
No one is.
Nothing's perfect. But the big part is that we hold under this beautiful flag of democracy is that we do not hate criticism.
No, it's supposed to be.
We accept criticism because we want to improve.
And sometimes criticism
And
is
there is always
wrong.
room to improve.
always room to improve.
There is always room to improve, regardless of criticism, right or wrong.
Right.
We agree that you have the right to criticize. We have the right to disagree.
Right.
We have the right to correct. We have the right not to correct. something like that.
Yes.
Let everybody, every party, whoever, from all corners of the earth,
Yes.
express themselves.
The problem now is these radical people that are trying to destroy America. They want to shut you up. They don't believe in free speech. They only believe in their speech. They don't believe in free speech. In this culture cancel stuff that's going on, we're trying to wipe out our culture and silence the culture. The only way probably to overcome that is we've got to be stronger in fighting back. And I fight back very strong.
I came across a piece of news this morning
Very strong.
that in the city of Portland
Yes.
of Oregon,
Yeah.
those protesters chose to demonstrate, quote unquote,
Yes, sir.
at nighttime.
Right. Right.
They don't do it at daytime.
Right, yeah.
They do it at nighttime. At nighttime, in the city of Portland, they surrounded a federal building,
Yes,
one
they
of the
did.
federal building.
Right.
I believe that's a court building or something.
Yes, a federal building. Though.
A federal
That's
building.
the key phrase.
Yeah, which at a point when the local police failed to protect it,
Right.
some federal forces, law enforcement,
Came in.
enhanced it.
Yeah.
Now that, according to Sunday night,
Yeah.
okay, so they were so surrounded, the demonstration, quote unquote,
Right.
turned into such a melee that they had to, the law enforcement, the federal law
Yes, sir,
enforcement,
yes.
had to apply tear gas.
Well, and you know what? That's too bad because these people are evil. They are doing things that deserve retribution.
And with
And
that,
I'm glad they did it.
with the tear gas application,
Yeah.
it drew lots of criticism
Improper.
from one side,
Yeah. From
saying that
the
they
anarchists.
are suppressing the people of exercising their freedom, constitutional freedom.
There is no freedom, Jack, to riot, to loot, to destroy. That is not in the Constitution. Now, that's what they cry because they're crybabies, okay? And they're also cowards. Now, I listened to President Trump this morning at the White House, and we sent in about 170 federal law enforcement officers to Portland. In the last couple days, they're shutting it down. You've got to shut them down. They're just kind of sneaking in, grabbing the people that are doing the worst things, stick them in a van, taking them to jail. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to have people in jail for 5 or 10 years or more to stop this. And so, yes, they'll cry. There is nothing in the Constitution or in human values, just basic decency, that says you can try to burn down federal buildings, throw things at cops, kill kids. The death rate in these cities like New York and Chicago and Portland and Seattle is unbelievable, all right? It's up like almost 300% in New York City with de Blasio, who's definitely
Yes,
evil.
yes. Last week on Wednesday,
Yes, sir.
I had a show with my dear friend, Mr. Honorable Michael Antonovich.
Yes, sir.
Former LA County Supervisor.
Right.
For 28 glorious years.
Long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
As a senior politician
Yeah.
but you know what? He is a Republican registered.
Mm-hmm.
But by looking at what he acts
Yes.
over regular social issues,
Yes.
he doesn't look like any partisan at all. He kind of played fairly. According to him, I did ask him. So to the protest, to the demonstration,
Yes.
right? How he want to define it. He says very little of them look like the real protest, the real demonstration. Most of them are meditated,
Well, some of these
operated
Yeah.
by some political power.
Right. Well, and I know the power. Yeah, it's the people it's the radical left of the Democratic Party that is encouraging governors and mayors to let them go ahead and burn it down and do all this stuff, hoping that it will depress the voters and against President Trump.
And
But
the good
it's
part is
working
that
the opposite.
the good part is that he did not just say what they are doing.
Yeah.
he backed himself up with lots of evidences. He showed me the evidence of the woman who is the leader of BLM.
There's 3 ladies that founded Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, they're the first lady.
And the purpose is a Marxist they're
And
all
also
trained
he
Marxists.
showed the background of the great man, New York Mayor de Blasio.
Is he great?
Oh yeah, so great.
Yeah, right.
He got the full 9 yards.
Yeah.
He's got a full 9 yards of the things
Yeah.
that each of them will shock you.
I'm aware of them. Yes.
Yeah, each of them will shock you.
Yeah.
So with these
They are shocking.
With this information exposed though, and also he mentioned about where the money come from.
Yes, sir.
The 200 per person per day,
Yeah, that's
or $150 to $200 per hour,
okay.
right? No.
Not per hour, but
No, $15 to $20 per hour.
yeah.
200 per day.
Yeah.
Right. For those demonstrators,
Right.
protesters.
That are criminals.
Yeah.
They're violent criminals.
Number one, that's a lot of money.
Yes.
All right. Number two, nobody, not you and me, could afford that kind of money.
No, but George Soros can. He probably mentioned George Soros.
Well, he did mention the big name,
Yeah.
Soros.
Right.
All right.
I know those
My
guys.
dear friend, let's take a moment now. We come back to continue right away.
It's called James. I host English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. My dear brothers and sisters, we are really at a very critical moment. On one hand, we see the pandemic still getting out of control. And number two, we are hit by a political pandemic
We are. Yeah.
that's even, at least the same bad, if not even worse.
Right.
Okay. Now, with me is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a political commentator who's been missing for
Too long.
almost a month and a half
Yeah.
due to some surgical operation. I'm so glad he comes back like a regular, normal animal.
I'm so happy.
All right, very
I'm
good.
thrilled to be here.
Very good. So let's get back.
Yeah.
Right. So speaking of the interview with Michael Antonovich,
Yeah.
he did mention George Soros.
Right. He's a billionaire, very radical leftist troublemaker on planet Earth.
Yeah. And when everything put together, though, if they are the people of the regular mix, of a natural mix,
Okay.
who walk on the street, right? Well, we let it happen because Constitution does allow it.
Peaceful. It only allows
Yeah,
for peaceful.
I know.
And they're not peaceful.
But what we see now is that we see they have Marxism as their flag.
Yes. The Black Lives Matter.
They have the Antifa
Antifa.
as the organization.
Right. That is a very violent organization to destroy freedom, basically.
So,
It goes back to 1930s in Germany, Antifa.
okay, my dear friend, to the education for many of us who do not know exactly what Antifa is,
Yeah.
I would like to ask my friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, to give a little piece from history.
Yeah, well, it's basically, Antifa means anti-fascists, okay? And way back in Germany in the 1930s, there was tremendous kind of internal warfare between the fascists and the communists to see who could take over Germany, and Hitler did with his fascism, okay? And so it pops its head up all around the world for the last 70 years. And now it's been in America on and off for decades. And everything they do, though, is violent. I mean, it's violence. That's how they think they can accomplish something. And then, so you've got the Marxists, you've got the fascists, Antifa, and then you've just got anarchists that maybe aren't attached to anything. Anarchy is just the desire to turn your government over and to kill the culture, to kill the history, and to kill the values. And those three things are coming together. And our country, we've let it up to the governors and the mayors to try to handle it, and the ones that are liberal Democrats have failed, and they've encouraged it, and they've let it happen. Now Trump is sending about 175 agents into different countries, like New York City and whatever, to try to quell it. And we have to do it.
A better way to understand Antifa is that it is good to go against the fascism, but you do it not with a Marxist way, not a communist way,
Right.
not an anarchist way.
Right.
Right? You do it with our Constitution. Constitution is your only weapon. That's it.
It's the soul. It's the heart of our country.
All right.
And they're destroying it, trying to, but they're going to fail, Jack.
I remember.
They're going to fail.
I recall a time when I first applied a visa. That was something like 40 years ago to the United States as a student.
you
As a
for doing that.
student, I look at a form.
Yeah.
There is a declaration form.
Yes, sir.
That you've never been a group of Marxism.
Yeah.
Communism.
Right.
Nazi.
Yeah.
Or any of the non-violent,
Yeah.
violent organizations.
Right.
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 Terrorist organizations.
Right. That's part of vetting your quality as
All right, good.
to be
So,
invited to be a
It
citizen.
is being confirmed bad to that kind of activity. Any rate,
Yeah.
remember about 2-3 months ago, I mentioned at our show in Orange County that one of the protests, somebody wore the Ku Klux Klan.
Well,
The hood,
yeah,
the
right,
Ku Klux
KKK,
Klan,
yeah.
the KKK,
Right.
The hood.
But and yet, it could even been. It could have even been one of the people, an Antifa person, doing that just to irritate, just to cause a problem. Didn't
Yeah.
have to be anybody that believed in the KKK at all.
So the Americans
That's what
did.
they do.
The Americans did have this sensitivity over that kind of stuff.
Of
Right?
course.
Their complaints filed almost right away. The guy capitulated, say, "Oh, I didn't do that to hurt anybody. I was just doing it for fun."
Well, yeah, it's not fun, but
We don't want
he
that
might have
kind
been
of
doing
fun.
that for
That's
fun,
too
right.
much of fun
We don't want that
that
kind
we
of
can
fun.
afford.
Right.
All right.
But yet these guys can run out there saying, "What do we want? We want cops. We want them dead. Pigs in a blanket," and they could say that, and really, and they're getting away with it. And here's one guy, doing something stupid with the KKK hood on, and yet they go against that. So it's such a double standard; it can't even be almost comprehended.
Okay, question. I know in the very beginning with this movement, the quote-unquote movement of
Yeah.
BLM just occurred, lots of people kind of like took a sympathetic stand aside on that part because as long as you do peacefully,
Right.
okay, go ahead, do it, right? Now that with the more and more violence
Oh,
pertaining from it,
right.
people start to ask them a question. Was that pure?
It's never been pure.
Never been pure.
No.
And then now, instead of seeing something that you doubt, you see for sure it is something, if I quote from Michael Antonovich,
Yeah.
right, former LA County Supervisor,
Right.
on Honorable Antonovich, that it was mandated.
100%.
Somebody are behind it.
Right.
Some
right.
political powers are behind it, because if you follow the money will tell you
Follow the money.
who
Right.
who they are.
Right. Because it is organized, okay? It's not spontaneous, it's organized. They know where they're going to be on what day, at what time, and everything. And don't forget, we talked about this before, they have people going in there and laying bricks and things that they can throw at cops.
It looks to me they are not doing it in a mess. They have an agenda.
They have a total agenda. The agenda is
They have an agenda.
to restructure America in a tyrannical manner and to take away our freedoms. They're trying hard to take away our freedoms. This cancel culture is garbage. They're out there. See, first it started out, oh, okay, let's take down some statues of Confederate generals, okay? You know, knocking over statues. Now, number one, that's a criminal activity. And now, when they're caught, it's 10 years in prison. Trump's got that law in there, and I hope they rot in prison. And now they're trying to do Lincoln.
That's part of history.
Washington.
That's history.
That's my word here. They're trying to destroy history.
How about Thomas Jefferson? The one who composes the
He wrote the Constitution.
the
Declaration.
Constitution himself.
Yeah.
And he was a slave owner himself.
Right. At that time, if you were
That was
successful,
that time.
Yeah.
That was history.
Yeah.
Right?
It was history, and you know, I tell you, the Japanese, they rewrote all their history and all their books in Japan. They don't talk about the atrocities of World War II. They sugarcoat it, and that's wrong.
When I was
we have to know
when
our
I was
history.
a kid, I was only 3 feet tall.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And why?
Right.
Because that was history.
That's right.
In history, I was once upon a time 3 feet tall. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Doesn't mean anybody is
No.
wrong. My mom fed with me the same food thing, and I need time to grow. I needed time to grow, and I did grow, and I grew to who I am now. Even though in history I was only as little as 3 feet tall.
Right. Now, the mission statement for Black Lives Matter doesn't mention anything about slavery or the blacks. It's all about how they want to.
But this whole thing comes from his history. This whole thing pertaining from history.
Well, don't forget. Remember when they had in New York City, they tried to take over Central Park or something in New York City, and that was Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. And it was and then they'll have these demonstrations, protests, riots, whatever you call them, about our system, our weather system, the environment, okay? And then they leave the biggest messes in the world behind when they leave. They don't pick up their own mess. It was hilarious and very sad.
Yeah, the same thing happens when there goes a riot. After the riot, you see a trash lot.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's horrible.
You see a trash lot.
Yeah, it's horrible.
You see a disposal
It's
of everything.
horrible.
All right, like a landfill.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the political trash they left,
Yeah.
they leave after every event is the same thing.
And there's been some good people that have gone in afterwards and tried to clean it up. There've been some good,
So
and they've been harassed.
Back to the point of, let's take a moment now. We come back to really, I believe we have to meander a little bit about why we hang on to history.
Yes, that's
All right.
worthy.
Okay, my dear friend. Okay, we'll be right back.
Everything continue to work on it now. It's called James. I host English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my loved audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow, on the East West Show, together with my team. My team and I, we try every bit we can to bring necessary information we believe that could be referential to you. And also, this includes my dear supporter of the show, my guest, my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a political commentator, a book writer, a successful CPA who is now totally retired, making more than 10 times I make now.
No, I'm just living off my savings.
Anyway, but he makes more than I do. Anyway, all right. Anyway, so by doing nothing.
Yeah, right.
All right. I'm not kidding. That indicates how good he is. All right. So
I worked hard for many
you're
years.
you only worth who you worth. You only worth what you are worth for.
Right.
Right. Good. Very good.
True.
So to the point that he and I, not only this show, not only the last show, but the shows for many, many years, we emphasize the point that history is the part that you will never forget.
Yes, and if you don't study history and learn from it, it will repeat itself.
Remember, there is one
It
show we talk about the German Auschwitz.
Auschwitz, the
Auschwitz in German.
extermination camp.
Yeah.
For
Right?
Jewish people.
So they didn't turn it down. They didn't
No.
burn it up,
Good point.
right? They keep it there.
It's got to be studied.
They put it under super good, super well maintenance.
Yes, right.
For the purpose of let it stand there forever
Yeah,
to warn
right. About
our
recurrence.
future generation,
Right.
to warn into posterity all the way
Yes.
that a human animal,
Yeah.
once out of control,
Could do that.
can go this wrong,
Right. That's right.
right?
They killed 6 million Jews in
Yes.
five years.
Yeah. If you put all the others, there is another statistic talking about 9.
Yeah, I mean nobody knows the exact number.
Yeah.
It's
To
but they
include,
have a lot of records. And
yeah,
they have
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of names.
Right, sure.
Because the Nazis kept good records of what they do and how many they were killing a day.
Oh, they're
how many
naming
an hour.
these people.
Yeah, they were keeping very good records.
Oh, yeah, they do?
Because because they thought they were going to rule the world. Okay, and that was just going to be the first part of where they go in the world and annihilate people.
The same thing happens in China when there is when there was a war, anti-Japanese.
Yeah,
The Japanese slaughtered more than 300,000 of Chinese civilians
1937.
within a period of less than 4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks.
46.
And
No,
there's-
46 days.
Well, okay.
Not a 46 weeks.
No. 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
No, no,
started,
no.
and it was heinous beyond comprehension.
Yeah. For that piece of memory, they put up a wall,
Yeah.
right, in commemoration of those who were slaughtered.
Now that's in China, but they don't have a wall in Japan bragging about it.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's the
that
point.
we're talking about.
I know.
Right?
That's exactly right.
We're talking about why there's not
Yeah.
such a wall in Japan, in Tokyo,
Yeah. In
because
fact,
they want to forget.
well,
Right?
they don't want to forget.
They want to forget.
They-
No one will forget, but
they
they want their future, their future generations to forget
Right.
that part.
And then that could happen over
Now,
again.
in our history,
Yeah.
we had a black page that we once had the slaveries.
And so did the whole world. Not just it was not an American.
They were tied on
creation.
They were tied on chains.
Yeah.
Work for endless hours. They die like a dog.
Well,
and
not quite that bad. Some did, yeah. But Jack, there's slaves all over the world right now.
I know.
There are slaves
So
right
for
now
that,
all
for that,
over.
for that, we have statues. We have a monument.
Right.
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 For example, in the city
So we remember.
Bristol of England,
Okay. Yeah.
right? There was a trader
Okay.
who was a slave trader.
Oh yeah.
He made the money. What's his name?
Yeah. No, I know. I heard it in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. But he used his money
Yeah.
to put up schools,
Yeah.
hospitals, and the churches, for which
So his
he earned,
business was
he earned
was
the
slave
reputation. He earned the reputation,
Yeah.
a monument, a statue
Right.
in his name.
Right. And now they want to get that.
Was
done.
on the land of Bristol.
Yeah.
No, it is down already.
Did they get it down?
It's not they wanted. It's down already.
Now, the way he made some money.
It is in the port of London.
Yeah, and that's where some of the slave boats came and went, but he used some of the money for very good things for the country, for good purposes.
Now some,
Yeah.
he used a good part of his money
Yeah.
earned from slavery
Yeah.
to build the schools,
Yeah.
hospitals, and the churches.
Yeah.
Now, what can we ask him to do?
Well, in slavery,
He was a
legal.
historical person. He was, yes.
It was legal then.
It was illegal
was
then.
part of the
back
whatever.
then.
Yeah.
All right. Like marijuana, it's illegal now.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
So
know.
marijuana is still the same plant.
It's the same plant.
Same plant.
Yeah.
It doesn't change any bit.
Well, one thing.
It is the law that say it was not legal. It is legal now.
Well, in
Slavery is the same thing.
one of the big things they're trying in California now, Jack, is to go through all of the prison records and wipe out convictions for marijuana selling and use. They're
Once
trying
again-
to wipe out the
Once again,
the
they're
facts.
changing history.
I know, and that's quite evil.
History is
The
a
truth
history.
is the truth.
Right. Before the law says it's illegal, everything you do with it is still illegal.
Yeah, right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. So now, with the same
right.
philosophy, I want to go back to Thomas Jefferson,
Yes.
to George Washington, to Abraham Lincoln,
I love those men so much. I do.
to any of those, our founding fathers.
Yeah. See, Jack, I went on a trip this last year with my sister and went to Monticello, which is Thomas Jefferson's house. Phenomenal place. And then the slave quarters are here and the this and that. I looked at a chair in Philadelphia that George Washington sat on. Now that moves your soul.
Oh, you sat on.
No, I didn't sit on it. No, they have it in glass.
That's how you sat on.
No, they have it in glass. No, that George did. And Abraham Lincoln, I'm from Illinois. He's my ultimate hero. For 600,000 people at least died in the Civil War to end slavery, to free slaves. And they say, "Oh, America's bad because we had it." You find somewhere else in the world that people gave their lives like that to end an inappropriate part of this culture. Unbelievable. Okay, and they're slaves. And there were a lot of black slave owners too, a lot of them. It was because you needed farm workers. That's what they were.
You can change the future by hard working.
Oh yeah. Oh, they do.
Right? You will never change history.
Right.
Because history is history.
Many slaves, I've read a lot of stories, have bought their way to freedom.
You want to
and then
go
they
buy?
created
You want to
businesses.
go buy a time capsule? Go back to?
Yeah. Right.
Do the change?
Yeah.
That's the only way out.
I don't want to go back to the Roman Colosseum where they've got lions eating Christians. Okay, I don't want to do that.
But there is no time capsule available.
But
Available.
but we do have that history and the knowledge of it, and that's the important thing.
Of course.
We
of course.
know what's-
So you can't go back.
Right.
You can't criticize Thomas Jefferson
You can't
for his
erase.
slavery part.
You can't erase history.
Right?
It was legal at the time. Now, he's the biggest proponent of ending slavery. And when he died, his slaves were all free.
We commemorate Washington
Yeah,
because he was only one after winning the crown,
yeah.
going back home to be a farmer.
He just went back
In
home.
human history,
No
he
one-
was the
yeah.
only one
Yeah.
ever.
He says, "I'm just going home."
I'm going home.
And then they made him
And
come
he
and be
went
president.
home.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. He says, "I'm going." And that's why.
If you criticize him for the part of being slave owner, though, it doesn't make any sense.
He gave us our country. He led us to our country, and like England, we were governed by England, and they just kept throwing taxes on us and hurting us and destroying us. And fortunately, there was a lot of miles of water between us, so we could exert our influence to become free, and we did. And it was a miracle that these just ragamuffin young Americans were able to defeat the British army, which was the most powerful army in the world then. We did it with intelligence and bravery, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, really.
Yeah. So
It was.
history
We should
is
have lost that war.
History is only history.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give you a quote. When asked, "Do you regret?" It said that I regret though that I only
Right.
regret that I have but one life to die for this country.
Patrick Henry said that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Against who?
Well,
Against the British.
right, against the British, right?
Against the British. Nathan Hill. That's Nathan Hill. That's a quotation from Nathan Hill.
Okay.
Right? So against who? Against the British.
Yeah.
Now look at the allied relationship between United States and UK.
Yeah, it's now that UK's pulled out of the European Union too, we're getting closer.
Yeah, because we're not talking about history, we're talking about now.
Right.
Current time. All right, my dear friend, let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we really want to put together to look into it, including we really have to give some look into the coming election.
Oh, we do.
All right. Okay. Right. We'll be right back.
Everything expected. Continue to work on
Like
it now.
seems on way.
It's called James. I host English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, dear brothers, sisters. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening, whoever. Well, whichever depends where you are.
Yeah.
But the point is that no matter where you are, unless you're out of the country, well, right now at the current time, it is impossible that you're out of the country.
Pretty hard. Pretty hard.
Because there is no flight available,
Very
and nobody
sad.
accepts you. You're flying outside the United States.
Very
anyway, it's time to stay home. However, not only staying home, but think together. Right?
Absolutely.
Think together. Right now, we're talking about we're in almost, the end of July.
Yes.
Right? We're into the last 10 days of end of July.
Right.
We have August, September, October, 3 months ahead.
105 days to the election.
Yeah, 105 days
Yes.
to the election.
I count it every day.
You count it every day.
I do, actually.
So, especially at this moment, where the country is so mystifying, where the political powers are so dogfighting,
Yes.
right? When the international situation was so kind of tied up in a way, like the Russian cubic,
Right.
the Russian cubes,
Right.
Right?
Rubik cube. Yeah.
the
Those are-
Ru-
the cubes like that.
the Russian cube or Rubik cube?
Rubik.
Rubik,
Yeah.
all right. Rubik cubes, right?
Yeah, Rubik cube.
So
yeah.
you
Oh, they're
really want
fun.
to pin your hope to who be the leaders of this country. Let me ask you right now, we have Joe Biden, we have Donald Trump,
Yes, sir.
all right? Suppose they are 50-50 on the balance.
Right.
How do you want to educate us as a Republican, as a show host? I know you're a guest host, but you're a show host too.
Sure. Thank you,
Right.
Jack. Yeah.
You want to guidance us. You want to give us some understandings from your perspective of who to choose, who not to.
Well, Joe Biden.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
the other day with I'm sorry.
Yes.
The other day with Honorable Michael Antonovich,
Yes.
he says the key is you want to vote somebody out of the office, you want to vote somebody else to stay in the office. And the key is in your hand.
It is.
That is quote unquote.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It is. Well, see, Joe Biden now, he's been in D.C. For like 44 years as a senator and vice president under Obama for 8 years. And way back, he was more like a centrist Democrat, a little more liberal. The Republicans are a little more conservative. But now he does appear to have some mental issues and the clarity of his thinking and his ability to talk and debate, whatever. I hope he's okay, but it doesn't look or sound very good. And he's been overwhelmed by the radical left of the Democratic Party, which are socialists, Marxists. We have two ladies in there that want they're Muslims. They want to totally dismantle America and recreate a new country. Well, it's not going to happen, other than over our dead body. Okay, but the Biden talks about raising taxes. Trump talks about lowering taxes. Biden talks about a $90 billion, $1 trillion Green New Deal. Which we couldn't afford, and he wanted to have no fossil fuels by 2050 and most gone by 2030. Fossil fuels is what energizes the world. What's left? There's not enough wind to blow to keep things going. Also, he wants to reallocate some money away from police to more social things. Well, the less police we have, the more violence we're going to have. In the basic black community right now, they're begging America to have more police and spend more money on police, because the victims, you've got a 1-year-old baby that was shot in a baby carriage in his stomach. He died. An 8-year-old girl through the head, a 9-year-old girl through the head, in these cities that are run loosely and are allowing violence. Kids are dying. Adults are bad enough to die, but this is really bad. And so the difference the difference between Trump want to lower taxes, less regulations. Biden, they want more regulations, higher taxes, and that includes the middle class, which is a lot of voters. And in America First, President Trump wants America First. He's getting companies coming back to America, which I like. We've got good relations with Mexico now. We just had the president of Mexico in there at the White House, and he's pretty much a radical, kind of leftist type guy. But he and Trump are getting along fine and working together nicely, because the U.S. Canada Mexico trade agreement is now in effect. It's going to be great for jobs. So it's all a matter if do you want low unemployment? Do you want a total dependency on the government for half of your money? Okay, there's too much of that. And right now, whatever the new the new effort to put more money, maybe $1 trillion or more, back into our economy is we've got people that are maybe making $50,000 a year doing nothing because they're getting $600 a week besides unemployment. $600 a week, right? That's $30,000 there. So they're not going back to work. So we've got to be sure that stops it. July 31, it's supposed to stop, and you've got to energize and make it important for people to go back to work to maintain their lifestyle. And so we're going to have low employment, and we're going to have lower taxes. We have a strong military. Biden will diminish the military like President Obama did for 8 years. I mean, like Trump says, we didn't have ammunition. We couldn't defend ourselves. And we've got all kinds of new airplanes and ships and everything. So it's all a matter between tyranny and government power and less individual freedom versus the people are supposed to run this country. And so if you vote for the Democrat candidate, we can kiss America goodbye. It will be over.
Yeah.
Because we'll never get it back.
On the other hand, there's one poll that shows a tie at 47%.
Sure. But Jack, remember, on November 7th, 2016, it was a 93% chance the day before the election that Hillary would win. Mm-hmm. Every poll had Hillary winning. Everything did. What Trump's got...
It's a win.
Right. And what Trump's got is he's just got silent...
Hillary was almost ready with her victory speech.
Oh, yeah, she had it all. She was going to put $2 million into fireworks on the river there and come down through the ceiling, through a glass ceiling, like the Queen arriving on planet Earth from heaven. And instead she ended up supposedly drinking too much Chardonnay that she couldn't even come out and give a concession speech till the next day. And she still hasn't accepted that she lost.
But she did. She did give
The next
her,
day.
Yeah, next day.
The next day.
Next day or
The next day.
Or a few hours later that
No,
night.
not that night. Next day.
Next day, all right.
I mean, Trump's acceptance was about 1:30 in the morning.
I see.
I was up. I was watching. But so it's the same thing. These polls, they're just wrong. In one of the polls that just came out showing Biden leading, they only talked to 22% of Republicans.
My question is that when it is more and more and more seen by the public
Yeah.
that number one, this BLM was not exactly
it's Mother Teresa.
a request of the lower class
Right.
black people
It wasn't.
wanting their equal right.
No. It was
It was something,
anti-cop.
yeah. It was something manipulated
Correct.
by the political power.
Right. Yeah. Not the soul of the beautiful people, in our different communities.
And when the riots
Yes, sir.
was more and more seen or realized by the public, that it was not something pertaining from the demonstration.
Nothing to do
It
with
was
life.
another theme,
Right.
another issue,
Right.
right? And the more when people find out there's money behind it,
Yeah.
people getting paid to do what they do.
It's losing its
My
luster.
question is that will the number of 47 change after seeing all these?
I believe with all my heart that it's going to be another shocking big win for President Trump, because it's clear anarchy, destruction of our Constitution, the soul of America, or America first. And in what they do, see, these people, all they think is everybody's in New York or California where all the loonies and wackos are. They are the extreme people that are really pretty rotten. And I don't like this state at all. I'm here because you're here. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'm going to stay here. But the state is horrible, and they're trying to do these things. Again, they're going to want more taxes here because the states have been financially run so poorly that they're trying to get money from the government to come and clean up their messes in underfunded pension liabilities and that in the trillions. But Trump's not going to do that. So. In the Trump supporters, because you can wear your Trump hat and somebody will shoot you or whatever. I mean, I wear my stuff, and because I'm not afraid. So the Trump supporters, they're quiet, particularly in New York and California, in Portland and Seattle. This is the loony coast here in New York. In between are where the Americans are, and they've got the electoral votes to win again.
All right, okay. My dear friend, my loved audiences,
God bless America.
with all the analysis and everything laid down on the table, we still want to see something. Well, after all, you want a stronger America.
We do. We're
Right.
secure.
We are almost there. We're in the process of making America strong.
We are.
Okay. I do believe that we are not perfect, but I disagree that we have no hope.
We're still the greatest
We
country
do.
in the
We
history
do have
of
lots
the
of hope.
world.
All right. Okay, my lovely audiences, thank you for watching. And to my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, thank you for being with me.
Thank you for letting me return. Thank you.
And good wish to your recovery. I'm in total recovery.
I need it.
All right.
Thank you.
Good.